music. Shutterstock music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we have the founder of Black College Experience, Keisha Kelly, in Atlanta. What's going on, Kels?
Oh my God, it has been a day. It has been a day. It's one of those I just want to put in the trash can.
Oh, wow.
So it started off with some minor stuff, with some tire stuff. So went to get my tires checked, and
Oh, wow.
the guy said, okay, he's talking about buying new tires. I'm like, no, not today. And he's like, all right, I'll get it fixed up. He fixed it up. I go outside. I have a flat tire.
Again?
And I'm like, oh, God. So I had, well, no, the tire pressure light was on, but it had a slow leak and it was leaking faster. So he tried to warn me, and I was like, yep, I'll wait. Well, I was like, I probably should have went ahead and checked it. Well, what happened was I ended up waiting. When I got outside, it was flat. He had asked me, he said, where's your flat tire, or where's your spare tire? And I was like, it's not in there? He said, no. So I'm like, that's odd. So I look, there's no spare tire, but with my car, because it's new, you get a pump. So you can pump up the tire, literally, like put more air in the tire so you can get to where you're going to. So it's kind of like a fix a flat on site. So I'm like, okay, cool, I got that done. I'm running from place to place to place to try to get another tire. Nobody's open. The people, the 24 hours, they're not open. I'm just like, oh, forget it. Finally, I found someone. They don't take debit cards. Got to get cash. Had to go get cash. I was supposed to be going to feed the homeless and donating socks. I get to the place. They're wrapping up. So needless to say, my time today has just been shot. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said that one of my biggest pet peeves is time wasted. I can't stand for my time to be wasted. I don't care what it is. I just don't like my time wasted. So I'm a little ill, but I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yes, indeed.
What about you? How was your Father's Day?
My Father's Day was fine. I was spending in Mississippi. My mom cooked dinner. She cooked some baked chicken, some oxtails with potatoes and gravy. I had a good Father's Day dinner. I got a chance to spend some time with my big sister and her husband, and of course the princess Anaj. And we just had a nice little quiet family Father's Day. We didn't go and do nothing spectacular. We didn't go and do any. Normally we go paint or go do something. We just decided we were going to have a nice family Father's Day. A lot of people don't know, my big sister is battling cancer. So spending that Father's Day with her, which is the first one I've gotten to spend with her in a while, was important to me. Because, I have faith that she's going to beat the cancer. But you just know, we know with cancer, it's an uphill battle. And I'm praying for my big sister every day. So, we're just having that family Father's Day with her husband, my mom, and my daughter. I mean, to me, that was just the best one, just hanging out with my family.
And it is. We'll be in prayer for your sister. I just had a classmate from high school that passed away on Friday from cancer. And needless to say, we knew she was sick, and everybody's still in shock. We're all still, everybody's still mourning. It's very hard to accept, but we will be praying for your sister, and we know she will beat the cancer. And I say that because I know God that I serve. We know that he's able to do anything. But the other thing Derek has not talked about, he has not talked about this weight loss journey that he's on. He's on this weight loss journey, and he's out there working out, getting it
doing
in. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop eating because he's out here doing good things. but congratulations on that, because God knows, working out, losing weight, and that kind of stuff, it's hard to do. And then you cook and you cook good. And I'm like, okay, I need to be in Baton Rouge is what I think to myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, like learning how to, like now, I don't use regular butter anymore. I used to unsalted butter. And, I was when I cook for myself, I use the healthy stuff now. But when I cook for guests or my mom or whatever, I may use the regular butter. And And you know how it is when you scooping some butter, cutting some butter, and a little gets on your finger, and you just go ahead and lick it off your finger. When I tell you that salted butter was so not good, nasty, I was like, man, I don't even want to eat salted butter anymore. Like, I've been doing this for going over a month now, and I have the big tub of salted butter in there, and I just don't even want to use it anymore. So it's all about trying to make healthier lifestyles. I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't eaten bad while I've been on this journey, but you can't just fix years of unhealthy, habits in 6 weeks. So, lost 31 pounds in 6 weeks. And I'm, my goal is to lose more and get healthier. The healthier I am, the better I can be to cover gains for Black College Experience, and the better father I can be, and things like that. It's gonna benefit me in the long run as I get older. Because of course, as you get older, we all know father time is not nice, even to the people who are in shape and healthy. So just want to try and do stuff for myself, my daughter, and just to eat better. And it's been a challenge because I'm trying to find a better way to eat cheeseburgers, which that's my weakness. But other than that, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy.
Good deal. So let's hop into this week. We were off last week, but we had a lot of great things that happened. We're going to start over here with the 3 HBCU grads that opened their first beer business in Harlem.
Exactly.
I read that as well. I glanced over it. I read it. And, of course, anytime we have anything popping over here in this HBCU world, I kind of want to highlight it no matter what it is. But what happened was 3 HBCU graduates become the first beer bar in Harlem, which is 100%. And get this, 100% African-American owned people. That means we own the joint.
Exactly.
That's 100% all us. And the wonderful thing about this is when they took the picture, when I saw this, that they did. The guy had on his Hampton shirt, the girl had on a Clark Atlanta shirt. But again, and the three people, these are three graduates of historically Black colleges. They're bringing a stylish, trendy, crafty beer in New York's historic Harlem neighborhood. On June 9th, those three owners, Kevin Bradford, Kim Harris, and Stacey Lee, officially opened the doors of Harlem Hops to the public, making the establishment the first craft beer in Harlem to be 100% owned by African Americans. Harlem Hops is nestled in the heart of Harlem at 2268 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, which is a bustling street alive with independently owned businesses, convenience stores, curious neighbors, and school children counting down the days until summer vacation begins. I think this is a very good thing. It's the vision of the Harlem Hops began for Harris, which is a graduate of CAU, about 5 years ago. She's born and raised in Harlem. She says she's appreciated her neighborhood, but good beer was hard to find. So going into this, what do you think about this whole Harlem Hops that they've opened?
Well, I also want to let everyone know that Stacey Lee, and it looks to me from the picture she graduated from, I think that's Bethune-Cookman. I think that's what that is on her jacket, because they didn't say where she graduated from. I think that this is an awesome opportunity because this is the first of its kind in the area, a Black-owned beer lounge in Harlem. And we all know that beer is something that's been around for decades. I mean, for us to get into this, for African Americans, HBCU graduates to be exact, to get into this business, to provide a place where you can go and try different beers, have a place that children relax in your own neighborhood, I think that's great. I mean, it's something that's going to, everyone wants to think, oh, you get drunk, you're going to cause a problem. No. If you drink responsibly, you can have a good time. And I'm hoping these 3 graduates will become successful. Who knows? Maybe we can have them as guests on Black College Experience one day because, yes, we are sports focused, but we also care about what other HBCU graduates and alums are doing in the community and in the business world because we are focus on the Black College Experience, Kels.
Absolutely.
So, it's just awesome to see these young people doing great. utilizing their degrees to, become business owners. And I just think that's awesome.
Absolutely. What do you want to go to next?
Well, we can start first by congratulating your new women's basketball coach at Southern University. Everyone knows the legend, Sandy Pugh, left to go to Prairie View. And she left, and, no one knew who was going to take over the job. Coach A.D. Banks, of course, hired Sean Woods to lead the men. He probably didn't think he would have to find a replacement for Coach Pugh right now, but he found the replacement in-house. Someone who knows the Southern University women's basketball program, and had an integral part in building this program to the heights that it has seen under Coach Pugh. For 13 years, Carlos Funches worked hand in hand with Coach Pugh to build Southern University into the SWAC juggernaut that it has become in women's basketball. He has been named the new permanent head women's basketball coach for the Southern University Lady Jaguars. I think that's awesome. I think it's going to bode well for the consistency that these young ladies will be used to. They don't have to really adjust too much. Yes, Coach Pugh was the head lady in charge. Now we got the head man in charge who, learned under Coach Pugh. Yes, he's going to be different. Yes, he's going to have his own style. But the good thing is, the great thing, Kels, is these young ladies know Coach Funches. They know his style. They know his personality. They don't have to adjust to a brand new coaching philosophy as far as Coach Funches may have things that he's different on, but ultimately they're going to be familiar with how Coach Funches talks to them, how he counsels them, how he coaches them. And we all know what coaches do best, how he fuzzes at them encouragingly, because when you have a voice that you're familiar with, it's going to just help ease the transition, the sting of Coach Pugh leaving taken away by the sweetness of Coach Funches becoming the new women's basketball head coach at Southern. I just think it's a great thing for him. He gets a chance to prove himself at a place that he's comfortable with athletes that he's comfortable with recruits that he's comfortable with, in an environment that he's comfortable in, with a boss that he's comfortable with. So I think it's just so much when you got comfort in a place that you're at, it's gonna ease the transition for the program. I just think it's awesome. What do you think about Coach Funches being selected as a permanent basketball coach for women?
I think it shows a lot of dedication. 13 seasons as an assistant coach shows a lot of dedication. So really proud because one of the things I was like, okay, even though we're in the off season for basketball, you still want to go ahead and make sure you have those people in place before you start another school year, before we start football season, because you don't want to be scrambling and looking for people, after the school year has started. So I think that's a very good thing. And like you said, it's in-house, and, there's somebody that's already familiar with them, somebody that already knows what's going on. While we're over at Southern University, got to give props also to Ryan Price, that also has been selected. Now, he was gone. He was at Southern as a coach, basketball coach. Now he left, but he is back as an assistant men's basketball coach. So we're excited to have Coach Price back at Southern. And the funny thing is that Coach Price just had a baby like 2 days ago. I said, well, Coach, you're getting all the good news in 1 week. But he's excited. I'm excited. It's great things because he was there and he left to coach some other places like a year or so. But now he's back home. But I think these, you're working in-house, people that's already familiar with the program, people that's already familiar with the coach. I think it's a good thing. And on that note, let's take a commercial break and come back to this.
All right. I do have some other Southern University news while we're on Southern. So, yeah, we're going to come back and talk about that after this quick commercial break in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and while we're on the campus of Southern, I came across this information on yesterday. The Jaguars track and field cross-country programs add 9 to their men's and women. The class will add, let's see here, the 2018 class has a combined 13 state championships. The class will include 6 women and 3 men, including 4 from Louisiana. And when you go down this list, Kels, like you said, the class has combined 13 state championships. Southern University did make some noise in the SWAC tournament for championships as far as competing goes. But when you add this type of influx of young talent to an already successful track team, it's going to be an infusion of talent. These freshmen are coming in looking to compete right away. They're not going to be looking to sit second fiddle to a junior or a senior. They're going to be coming in trying to continue winning and building upon their championship resume. If you want to find out more about those young athletes, you can visit Southern University's website. But I'm just going to run down the list. Quenisha Mayhew out of Alabama, Shatoya Lanzer out of Louisiana, Tiana Perry out of Louisiana, Lauren Hart out of Texas, Sydney Minor out of Lafayette, Dayon Acosta out of Houston, Texas. That's the women. The men, Tyron Scott out of Lafayette, Nicholas Scott out of Baton Rouge, and Terrell Chevalier out of Cecilia, Louisiana. Also staying with Southern University, our former guest, Coach Funno for the soccer team, he has added some new athletes to his squad, signing 14 for the new season. We know Coach Funno is looking to build on last season. They didn't win a whole lot of games, but when you're trying to build a program, you have to add an influx of talent, and adding 14 ladies to the women's soccer team would definitely assist Coach Fontenot in turning around the program. The young ladies include Mia Moore Mesa out of Washington, D.C., Amber Zarate out of Texas, Jalen Davis out of Texas, Lauren Den out of Texas, Faith Sparks out of Texas, Skylar Randall out of Baton Rouge, goalkeeper Naomi Cooper out of Texas, Jocelyn Sorto Alaman out of Texas, Raven Bradley out of Texas, Yesenia Ravenna out of Texas, Brianna Schroeder out of Mexico, Jacqueline Noel Payne out of Oklahoma, and Tempest Shepard out of Horn Lake, Mississippi, by way of Northwest Mississippi Community College. So hopefully we're going to see the fruits of the labor put in by Coach Fonno, Kills. And the next time he comes on to talk about the women's soccer program, he'll be having better news to let us know how he's building the program back, and turning it into a potential SWAC championship team, Kills. What do you think about these new athletes on the campus of your alma mater?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, what do you think about these new athletes, this new class of Jaguars coming into the fold on the campus of Southern University?
Always excited. One thing I'm very, very excited about now is that soccer is getting more buzz on the campus now. It's starting to be more of a conversation because we know, like we always say, and it's just how it's designed. Football is always a conversation. Basketball is a conversation. Baseball is a conversation. But I'm excited that soccer is getting more buzz. And when you get other, track and field has conversations, but when you get conversations talking about soccer, when you start talking about bowling, when you start talking about, other things, swimming, whatever the case is, tennis, anything outside of your normal sports starting to get buzz is great. But it's even better when those sports are also competitive, when you can compete in those other sports. So I think, I can tell people all the time, just because you don't watch something or just because I don't watch something doesn't mean that other people don't, because we know it for ourselves. When we turn on the TV, you see people playing poker on TV. You see people doing darts on TV. You see, these cornhole tournaments and championships. So somebody's watching this stuff. So, people are watching it. So it's like, I love the buzz that it's starting to get with soccer teams on these campuses. So I think, It is. People watch. They watch that cornhole stuff, and I'd be so angry.
Well, I'm just wishing the College World Series is going on. Unfortunately, our Bulldogs got put out. But I was on social media the other day, and someone said, "Why are they talking about cornhole tournament during the College World Series? We don't want to watch no cornhole. We want to watch our school." And basically that's how we feel. Yeah, cornhole is it's not a college sport yet, I don't think. Not on HBCU campuses. And I haven't heard of it being on any of the PWI campuses. But like you said, people are watching it. It does have a sponsor. So somebody must want to watch it. But if you can sponsor cornhole, you can sponsor HBCU sports as well. Because
Absolutely.
we have a fan base. Speaking of fans, going into this next bit of news is going to make our fans down in the lower Tigerland, championship Tigerland, very, very happy. Over the past couple of years, Coach Broderick Fobbs has rebuilt Grambling back to former glory. And of course, when you're successful like that, everyone thinks you're going to want to leave. You know, when you look at Alcorn's former coach, Coach Hobson, when he started winning at Alcorn, everybody was like, well, when is he going to leave? Is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? Of course, Alcorn people felt like it was home for him. I, on the other hand, initially felt that he would have stayed longer than 2 years. He ended up staying a good bit of years winning championships. Well, Coach Fobbs is homegrown from Grambling. He went to Grambling. He has built Grambling back to its former glory, winning the last 2 SWAC championships. He has been rewarded for his success with a new 4-year contract, Kels. Over the next 4 years, the contract is worth $1.28 million. A pool of agreement is pending from the University of Louisiana Assistant Board of Supervisors. That meeting was held on June 21st. He was entering the last year of a 2-year contract extension signed in 2016. And he will earn a base salary of $198,000 and includes an additional $121,000 from Grambling State Foundation. So, this is big for the SWAC because it keeps a winning coach with a winning pedigree who has an opportunity to go to other schools outside of the SWAC and outside of HBCUs to make more money. I think this is great for Grambling. It's great for the SWAC to keep him at Grambling. We know our friends, our Grambling friends are excited about Coach Fobbs signing his new contract because we all know if you ask a Gramblinite, is Coach Fobbs wanting to leave? They're going to tell you no. It's home for him. But we all know the business of college football. I would love to see Coach Fobbs stay at Grambling like Coach Eddie Robinson did, but we know our society is different from how it was back in those days. So if he decides to stay at Grambling for the complete 4 years and also renew, if he continues to win, I would love to see him stay in the SWAC Hills. What do you think about Grambling extending Coach Fobbs? To me, it was a no-brainer.
I think it was a great thing. You have to look at this in 2 perspectives, though. It's this is a conversation that we constantly have, and people don't see it. This is not that era of Eddie Robinson. You don't have coaches that are staying 20, 30, 40 years places coaching. When you're good, people start to look for you, and people will pay for a good coach. And I think the thing is that he's proven himself, and he's done some great things, at Grambling. And
this
I think
call is being recorded.
I think that it was well deserved extension. It's the case of you don't want it to be the case of like Mike Davis. Then it's like, okay, you had a good coach, and now the coach leaves and goes elsewhere. That's what you don't want it to be. But it's kind of like a gift and a curse. You want the great coaches, and then when they get good, then people, they leave or somebody pays them out, and that's the thing that you don't want. So hopefully, it'll be the case that he'll stay around longer.
Right. And to talk about some of the acclaims that he's made, he's 39-11 since 2014. Like I said, including 2 and 4 mentioned league championships and a Black College National Championship. Clearly, he's a leader among leaders, spoken by President Rick Gayott. When you look at everything he does on and off the field, I think he's the kind of coach we certainly believe is good for Grambling and good for the football team. I cannot agree more with President Rick Galliard. I hope I'm saying his name right. Grambling, don't beat me up. Because I still have problems with some Louisiana terms.
What do you call his last name?
Is it Galliard?
Galliard.
Galliard, okay. I
Galliard.
thought the L's were pronounced with a Y.
It's just like it looks. Yeah, it's just like it looks. President Galliard. It's just like
Galliard,
it looks.
okay. So I'm just going to call him President Rick. You know what I'm saying? Forbes could see a bump, $15,000 bump if Grambling achieves a PR rate benchmark, another $15,000 for winning the Black National Championship, an additional $25,000 for a Celebration Bowl victory, $10,000 for a SWAC title, $75,000 for knocking out Southern in the Bayou Classic. So he gets money for beating y'all. That's why he wants to beat y'all so bad. He gets paid. And $10,000 for being named SWAC Coach of the Year. So I think this is a great thing for Grambling, great thing for the SWAC. I'm pretty sure some other SWAC fans want Forbes gone because he's been so dominant since getting Grambling back going on its winning ways since that ill-gotten protest season. I'm glad to see Grambling football back on top. I'm pretty sure, as a SWAC fan you are, but as a Southern graduate, I'm pretty sure you want them to be beneath your Jaguars, right?
Well, anytime it's competition, you always look at the rival like, no. So, of course, I'm not, as a conference, yeah, but as a rival, no.
All right. So, earlier you mentioned Coach Mike Davis leaving Texas Southern to take the job at Detroit Mercy. But also leaving, and this was a shocker to me, I didn't expect this. I expected this kid to finish out his years in the SWAC and hopefully try to become a potential draft pick in the NBA. But Trey Jefferson is leaving Texas Southern, Kels. He says in a tweet, "I will not be returning to Texas Southern University. My time in Houston is up." He was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when he made that tweet. I think that's where he's from. And, with Coach Davis taking the job in Detroit, Michigan, which isn't far from Wisconsin, some people think that he's going to follow Davis to Detroit Mercy. But when I continue to read the article, Jefferson states, it really wasn't my decision. If Coach Davis was leaving, Trey was leaving. It was more like Trey was Coach Davis' responsibility. I've been here before. It's business. I understand the game of basketball. I don't have any bad feelings toward Texas Southern. That's my school. They made me. Just all that I accomplished there. All the people I made happy. Just the chance and opportunity they gave me. Put smiles on a lot of alumni in the kids' faces. Trey says he's not had any discussion with Coach Davis about transferring to Detroit Mercy. It looks like it's a family decision. He wants to be close to his grandfather because he said he lost his father a few months back during basketball season and not being able to make the funeral. I just want to be closer to home now that my granddad is getting older and getting ill as well. I can relate to Trey Jefferson's plight here. Sorry to get a little personal, but I can understand why he wants to be close to home. If he chooses to go play for Coach Davis at Detroit Mercy, it accomplishes his goal of being close home to family. Wherever he goes, I wish him success. I also had the plight that he had. When both of my father figures passed away, I was not around to be there close to them. I was out of state. When my stepfather passed, I was out of state again when my father passed. I was able to get home for the funerals, but still not being there right away to comfort your family members in that time where they need you the most. I can understand why he wants to be close to his grandfather, because with his father gone and him not being able to make it home, when you have that itch where you want to be close to family, and I've had it here living in Baton Rouge, being that my mom is in Mississippi, which is it's not far. I can always make it back, but still, when your family members going through health issues, sometimes you just want to be as close to them as possible, so that you could be there to care for them and love on them during their time where they're ill, may need family support kills. What do you think about Trey Jefferson's decision to leave Texas Southern?
Well, I think, one of the things that I always say about athletes, as long as they remember where they came from and who made them, I always think it's a great thing. I think it's strictly his decision. A lot of times people tend to forget that athletes are humans just like other people. And I say that from the high school level, collegiate level, and pro level. And a lot of times we put a lot of pressure on athletes as if they're not human. We put a lot of pressure on people as if they're not human. And I think until, you understand what it's like to lose parents, I understand what it's like to lose a parent. A lot of times people don't understand that your family plays a major part in a lot of decisions that you make. And, whether it be sports, whether it be careers, whether it be relationships, whatever it could be, sometimes your family plays more of a part or more in the decision making than people realize. So I really feel like, whatever the decision is for him to go, for him to leave Texas Southern, I think that's totally up to him. In these cases, the only thing you can do, I tell people all the time, it's just business. People have to do what's best for them, what's best for their families, what's best for their well-being. So if that's what's best for him, I'm all for it.
Right, and also staying on that topic, Jackson State also lost a defender. Jackson State defensive line leaving to walk on at Kentucky, and that's Jackson State's Brandon Fraser. He's leaving his scholarship behind to walk on at UK, also for family reasons. Fraser's mom lives in Lexington, and she's had some health issues. So, the good thing is when you have something like this happen to an athlete, like you said, they are human. And in most cases, people won't look at athletes as machines or warriors who aren't supposed to have emotion, or you're supposed to be totally loyal to your school because that's where you are. But an athlete has loyalties outside of their school, outside of their coaches, outside of their teammates, because there is no more loyalty, no greater loyalty than family. And for Trey to want to go be close to his grandfather, well, Mr. Fraser's, we all know a son's connection to a mother. I mean, I'm 37 years old, and I'm still part mama's boy. I'm not afraid to admit that. So if something happened to my mom, I'm going to hightail it up out of Baton Rouge to go see about her. This young man also is making a decision. I hope he does well at Kentucky. I hope his mom gets well soon. Because reason why we're talking about this, because we want to show you that athletes have a side outside of just being warriors on the court and warriors on the field. They have family aspirations or family issues also. So hopefully fans will respect these young men's decisions, because we know how fans can be. We know how fans can make tweets at a player if they do something where they feel like they're disloyal. To me, this has nothing to do with disloyalty. It's all about loyalty to your family. And, Trey Jefferson will go down in Texas Southern history as being the leader of that team to get Texas Southern its first NCAA tournament win. Fraser, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to reach his potential at Jackson State, but hopefully he'll be able to reach it at Kentucky while being close to his mom and being able to look out for her. I wish both of these young men well. Can't wait to see how they do. I'm going to follow both of them to see how their academic and athletic careers go, as far as where, we know where Fraser's going. Still trying to figure out where Jefferson will be going. But it's a loss to the SWAC as well, but we understand why these young men are choosing to go home or choosing to go close to the family, and much peace and blessings and prayer for the loved ones during their time. So I just want to say that, Kills.
Okay. So now while we're here, as everyone knows, here Media Day is coming up this year. And I don't know why I didn't think of it. Last year I did SWAC Media Day, and I missed SWAC Media Day. I probably should have went to SWAC Media Day this year, so probably next year. But SWAC Media Day has been set. Again, it's going to be in Birmingham. It is set for July 13th. It's at the recently refurbished Birmingham Marriott Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. I have been there before. It has been confirmed on what players and what coaches will be. And those include from Alabama State, you have Tyvis Howard, a senior offensive lineman, Devin Santana, which is also a senior defensive lineman, and then a coach, Donald Hill-Ely, which is the head coach. From Southern University, Demario Houston, which is a senior defensive back. Dennis Craig is a redshirt senior tight end, and then, of course, Coach Dawson Owens. From Grambling, it's going to be Percy Cargo, which is a senior defensive back. Dearius Christmas is a senior linebacker, and then, of course, Coach Roger Fobbs. From Arkansas Pine Bluff is Keyshawn Williams, senior running back. Jalen Stewart, which is a junior defensive end, and then Cedric Thomas, which is the head coach. From Alabama A&M is Dylan Hamilton, which is a senior safety. Jordan Bentley, which is a junior running back. And then, of course, new head coach Connell Maynard. From Texas Southern, Julian Marcantel, which is a junior linebacker. Brad Woodard, a senior running back. And then, of course, Coach Michael Haywood. From Alcorn State, T.J. Simmons, senior running back. Brady Smith, a redshirt senior defensive back. And then, Coach Fred McNair. From Mississippi Valley, Patrick Harbin, senior linebacker. Jet Evans, senior quarterback. And then, of course, new head coach Vincent Davey. From Prairie View, we have DeWanya Tucker, junior running back. Anthony Stubbs, senior linebacker. And then new coach there, Coach Eric Doolin. And then last but not least, Jackson State, Romella Schumacher, a senior wide receiver. Eric Bowie, a senior linebacker. And then, of course, head coach Tony Hughes. What do you think about this lineup for Media Day 2018, which is going to be held in Birmingham on July 13th?
Well, I think you're going to see the next wave of SWAC outstanding performers, because a lot of these young men have waited their time behind the SWAC stars of old for the last couple of years, and now it's time for them to shine. We all know who the running back from Alabama, what's his name? Alabama A&M, Jordan Bentley. Injuries derailed his sophomore season last year. He's going to be looking to have a bounce back junior season in the first year under Coach Maynard. The quarterback for my Delta Devils, I posted this in the Valley group. When I saw Jed Even as a senior quarterback, we know Valley has three talented quarterbacks, but Even didn't start last year and he didn't finish at the start last year. We have the young bucks there, so I expect to see one of those young quarterbacks go to Birmingham. Because 9 times out of 10, one of those quarterbacks will probably end up beating Even out. But I was told that, Even is the senior leader. Even though he may not be the starting quarterback, he's the senior. He has the leadership role of the offense. And when you have someone like Vincent Dance in his first year, when you have someone that shows they have the leadership abilities that he even has, I mean, you give them an opportunity to speak for the offense, which he has. And then you have the senior linebacker Patrick Harbin. We all know he's the heart and soul of Valley's defense. But looking at the other, what's surprising from Grambling, there is no offensive weapon. We know Grambling has had some of the most exciting offensive talent the past couple of years, in having Devontae Kincaid, the running back, wide receivers, but they're taking two defensive players, which to me feels like, well, Grambling will rely on his defense to defend his title. Will Hickenbottom be able to be the starting quarterback? Grambling also received a transfer from Arkansas State, transfer, and New Orleans alum Alden Clark. He was a dynamic high school quarterback, didn't get a chance to get on the field at Arkansas State, transfers into Grambling, but there's no offensive weapon going to Birmingham with Coach Fobbs. So which that to me tells me that maybe Grambling is going to be a more defensive-minded squad. We know they have the former Alabama running back there. He hadn't really been able to, do his thing. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a successful career at Grambling. But to me, with them not having an offensive player go to SWAC Media Day, to me it looks like Grambling may be a team that relies on his defense. I'm pretty sure Coach Fobbs will have an efficient offense because we know that's his side of the ball. But right now, maybe what is Grammy's identity going to be on offense? Are they going to be a more balanced team? Also, looking down the line, Coach Donahill Eagley, you know what I'm saying? No skill positions, you know what I'm saying? You got offensive linemen, you got defensive linemen, which makes me smile because that's my side of the ball when I was trying to play football in high school. No quarterback, no wide receiver, no running back, no linebacker, no cornerback. To me, it lets you know that maybe Alabama State would be a smash mouth team because the leader going off to me today is an offensive lineman. And you know when you have on the defense side you have the defensive starter. So maybe Alabama State will be a team that's going to look to beat you and defeat you in the trenches. And of course Southern. You know we all know Dennis Craig, red shirt senior tight end, will be stepping in for what's the tight end? Beard. We know Beard was Austin Howard's security blanket. Well, Southern's still trying to figure out which quarterback that Craig is going to be the security blanket for. We know DeMario Houston, pretty good defensive back. I thought maybe they would have a running back there, but you know, Coach Odom is going for the senior leadership, and we all know Coach Odom's focus is on leadership. You know, so some surprises, but I guess we'll see, you know, what the next great crop of talent in the SWAC has to hold. We're looking to see, can Grambling defend its title? Who will emerge in the East and dethrone Alcorn? Can Southern win the Bayou Classic? Will Prairie View and their new head coach, Eric Dooley, former mastermind of the Grambling State offense, be able to overtake Grambling? There's a lot of ways you can attack what this media day is going to bring, how to approach the season, because you have a lot of stories there. Can Coach Hughes break through? When you have you now have the innovator of the pass happy offense, Hal Mummy, you know, the offensive coordinator at Jackson State. You know, this guy is a passing, you know, genius. Will he be able to crack the code? Because Jackson State didn't bring a quarterback. So it looks to me that they're still trying to figure out who their quarterback is going to be. So it's going to be an exciting season in the SWAC, an exciting season across the landscape of HBCU football coming up. I mean, even North Carolina A&T, you know, has some changes, which we'll talk about after that. You know, we're going to see how their team bounces back. We all know Coach Broadway retired, and Coach Washington, my Valley alum, is now the head coach there. But we're just going to see how the season comes. I can't wait to see who's going to emerge. I mean, my favorite player, the only sure thing I know about college football is Bowie State's quarterback Amir Hall is going to throw for 4,000 yards this year. That's what I'm going to predict. That's all. That's my for sure pick as far as player performance, because he puts up the numbers. He's come back for his senior year. I can't wait to see what these athletes are going to do on the football field. Will my Delta Devils be to make a jump on the Coach Dancy? You know what I'm saying? Will someone be able to dethrone the Aggies? You know what I'm saying? Will Tuskegee be able to continue their dominance in the SEAC? Who is going to emerge in the CIAA? I mean, it's just so much going on.
We'll see. Now let's go over to the SEAC. Going over to the SEAC, a lot has gone on as well. First, we want to stop and give congratulations to our former guest, of course, Tyus Walker. We just call him T-Walk. He has earned a invite to the Summer League with the New York Knicks. Of course, I've been talking to him every single day probably since then. But I was asking him, like, is this the week? And I was always a week early. But he is taking his talents to the Big Apple. The former Morehouse guard and SEAC Player of the Year has agreed to play for the New York Knicks Summer League squad next month. Walker worked out for the Knicks prior to Thursday's NBA draft earlier this month. He wasn't one of the 60 players who heard his name called, but he will get a shot to play at the highest level. So, again, we are pretty excited for T-Walk. Mm-hmm. Did get a chance. Like I said, I've had a chance to talk to him a couple of times. And next month, of course, I will be plugged in to speak what's going on. I think in this case, I'm really excited because we always see football. You know, we see all the athletes get drafted in football. So if this happens for him, again, this would be one of the greatest things because you get an athlete that's drafted out of HBCU that gets to actually play at a higher level playing basketball. So again, I'm pretty excited for T, and I've watched T play. I've watched him all season play. Very, very competitive player. Very energetic. I mean, you heard his interview, but I mean, his stats are like none other. So, very excited to see what's going to happen. And like you say, he's a Grady baby, straight born right here in Atlanta. So, pretty excited to see what's going to happen. What do you think?
Well, I think he has a good chance to make the Knicks roster with his scoring punch. My thing is he's 6'2", which makes him a potential two-way guard. Don't necessarily know if he's going to play the point or the off guard in the NBA, but his shooting ability will give him an edge. His fearless ability to attack the basket in today's NBA will give him an edge. I think this is a perfect opportunity for T-Walk. I hope he makes the Knicks. I hope the Knicks give him a good opportunity to showcase his skills, coach him along, and help him realize his dream of becoming an NBA player. And I was going to ask, maybe we can get him to give us some as the summer league starts. Maybe we can get him to give us some exclusive content on his journey to the NBA as far as how practice is going, how the games are going. I think that would be, good for him, good for Morehouse, good for us, just to showcase what it's like to transition from going to the SWAC to the NBA. I think that would be great. Maybe we could, discuss that with him to see if he would have the time to do that with us, Kels. I mean, just to journalize his journey from Morehouse to the NBA. His journey to become a professional basketball player. I mean, talking to this young man, he has the fire and desire. He has what it takes. He just needs an opportunity. Like you said, there were many players who were very talented. My high school alum, Malik Newman, former 5-star recruit, you know what I'm saying? He didn't hear his name called. He got signed by the Lakers to play on their summer league team. A lot of players didn't hear their names called. That don't mean you're not the best talented. You know what I'm saying? There were players who didn't average as many points as players who didn't get drafted. They got drafted. What happens is when you get in the NBA, when you get on that squad, this is what you do when you get on that court. And I think what coaches need to stop doing is just because you draft somebody in the second round, if they get outperformed, the person who outperforms them deserves a spot. Send that guy down to the G League until he shows you he can perform. So what if he was a first-round draft pick? If he's a bust, he's a bust. It shouldn't matter if you're undrafted. If T-Walk outperforms the other young rookies that the Knicks drafted, he deserves that spot. He earned it. Just because he was undrafted shouldn't mean that he doesn't get that spot. And that's NBA politics. If I had Darius Rice on this show, and Darius Rice is another homeboy of mine who he was a double score figure for the Miami Hurricanes. Didn't get drafted, signed professionally with several teams, never really got a shot. But he's playing overseas now and also plays some locally. He didn't really get his chance, and he's better. It's hard to say he's better than some of the guys in the NBA. He feels he is, and I'm pretty sure T-Walk feels the same. The thing is, the point I want to make is, doesn't matter if he was undrafted. I think T-Walk is going to make the Knicks. I said this when Chester got signed. I went and looked at the Colts wide receiver roster, and I said, Chester going to make that team. And lo and behold, Chester is still with the Colts. So I'm going to say this again. I went and looked at the Knicks roster. Yeah, they have some talent. But T-Walk is going to make the Knicks. I hope I can be 2 for 2. So, Kels?
Okay. So, moving on, because we got like about 10 minutes left. looking over here at Albany State, congratulations to Bernice Graham. She was named Alabama State head volleyball coach. The Albany State Athletics Department has announced the appointment of Bernice Graham as head volleyball coach. Graham assumes the role of after Robert Skinner stepped down from the position. During his tenure, Coach Skinner guided the Golden Rams to 10 SWAC championships and 8 NCAA Division II playoff berths. He also spent 5 seasons as the head coach at Payne College, compiling a combined overall career record of 449 through 98. It says, I've had a wonderful run as volleyball coach here at Albany State. And he has been at the helm of the program since 1991. I am looking forward to giving my full attention to women's basketball, and I'm excited for what's to come to volleyball under the guidance of Coach Graham. Now, she takes over the program after serving as the assistant head coach since the fall of 2008. During her tenure, Graham helped guide the team to 2 straight SWAC championships in 2008 and 2009. In addition to those duties, she plays an integral role in day-to-day operations of the program, which includes budgeting, recruiting, and scheduling, which are all 3 very important things. They are very excited to have her, and they want to see what she's going to sustain as far as growth. So it's going to be exciting to see her do her thing, this year as the coach. So congratulations once again to her. The future is female is what we always say. So congratulations to her.
Also, staying in the SEAC, Trelane Moore-Powell has been selected to the new basketball coach at Tuskegee Kills. I mean, I think that's awesome also, and I like that. I like that mantra that they have. The future is female, because it is. I mean, you have women, stepping into coaching roles, stepping into, roles that are traditionally dominated by men, and I just think it's awesome. Can't wait to see how these 2 women, fit in their roles as head coaches. I think they're going to do phenomenal. They're going to, recruit some awesome student athletes. Hopefully the success shows on the volleyball court and the basketball court. I just think it's great that these young ladies or these women are able to, really realize their dream of being a head coach. So we do have about 8 minutes left. A few more tidbits. I want to announce this, jumping over to the GCAC from a school that I almost went to in my hometown. I grew up on that campus. Tougaloo's James Coleman was named AD of the Year in the GCAC. Seeing this picture on the GCAC website with Coach Thomas Billups, a coach who I've known for a very long time, it just makes me feel connected to this school because I grew up on that campus with my cousin and friends who went to Tougaloo. I went to summer camps on that campus, and like I said, I almost went to Tougaloo. Coleman is a native of my hometown, Jackson, Mississippi, and is a graduate of Tougaloo. He's a double HBCU graduate, earning his Master's of Education from Tennessee State and a doctoral degree from Ole Miss. He has been at Tougaloo for 42 years, Kels. 42 years. I think that's, he's in his 41st year of AD and third tier duty as the director of athletics. So, I just think that's awesome. Tougaloo College, not far from my home. You know what I'm saying? And they're a program, HBCU, private HBCU, who puts out some of the most talented graduates across the country. So congratulations to Dr. James Coleman on you being named the GCA's Athletic Director of the Year. Now, jumping over to the MEAC, the champs in football have decided to rename their football field to BB&T Field, BB&T Stadium, I'm sorry, after a gift of $1.5 million to aid in renovations for the stadium. BB&T stands for, I have it here. Where is it at? On it. Branch Banking and Trust Company in North Carolina. So they're going to invest in an HBCU, giving the naming rights to the stadium. The 1.5 gift will secure naming rights for the 37-year-old facility for the next 15 years, and will go toward renovations and upgrades of the A&T Athletics Complex, including the stadium. So, I think that's awesome when you have businesses looking to partner with HBCUs, because they see the worth. They see the worth, Kels. I mean, North Carolina A&T being the Black College National Champions, when you win like that and you're doing great in all sports, businesses want to be associated with you. And North Carolina A&T's success in their athletic endeavors is going to draw more businesses to want to sponsor them. Hopefully, BB&T will donate more money to other athletic teams and improve facilities at A&T. I just think this is great, Kels. What do you think about this company investing in North Carolina A&T?
I think it's a great thing. It's also going to be some other changes. I do believe that's going to come. It's some future changes that's going to come that goes with that. We'll just wait to see what those changes are. But I think it's a good thing. But I think some other changes that are going to come along. So we'll just stay tuned with that.
Yes, indeed. And sticking with A&T, I spoke about this earlier, just didn't say the name. With some changes are coming to the North Carolina A&T coaching staff. Offensive coordinator Chip Hester will leave his post to take over the Barton College football program, a school that's reviving its football program and will start playing at the Division II level in 2020. So Coach Broadway leaving, stepping in Coach Washington, and Coach Washington will now have to replace the offensive coordinator behind the Black College National Championship team. So we're going to see what happens. The Aggies return their quarterback and their running back, so they have the talent. So whoever steps in is going to have two very good pieces to work with. So we're going to stick to this story, try to see who is going to become the new offensive coordinator at North Carolina A&T. So congratulations to Coach Hester, everyone. That's the thing. Every coach has a desire to become a head coach one day. So maybe after Coach Hester has success at Barton College, he will come back and become a head coach in the MEAC, or maybe even the SWAC or the HBCU somewhere else. Also in the MEAC, and this was a shocker to me, the MEAC bowling adds two teams. UAB and Mama will be joining the MEAC in women's bowling. UAB, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Mama will join the conference as associate members of women's bowling, effective for this season. And Dennis Thomas says he's excited to welcome both UAB and Mama to the MEAC as associate members of women's bowling. The two add two nationally ranked bowling programs to our conference. That's great, Kels, for the MEAC. Two nationally ranked. They could have joined somewhere else, but they chose to join an HBCU conference. Two nationally ranked bowling programs to our conference speaks highly to the level of competition in the MEAC, as to our commitment to competing on a national level in the sport. I think this is big news when you have a school like UAB who a couple years ago was shuttering its football program, then revived it, you know what I'm saying? And they're choosing to become a member of the MEAC, social members of the HBCU conference. I think that's great. I think that's going to improve the profile of the MEAC. Having a school like UAB, even though women's bowling is not a money sport, it still gets exposure. They have a tournament just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But adding a school like UAB and Mama, like you said, two nationally ranked programs, is going to just bring more exposure to the MEAC as a whole. And Coach Thomas, you're doing well in football. You're doing well in basketball. Now you're trying to generate the buzz around your bowling program, and adding these two programs is going to do that, Kels. I'm gonna let you. We were almost out of time, so what do you want to close out with?
Okay, so what closing out with? We'll talk about what's going to be. You have so many things, but what's going on this week for anybody that is here in the Atlanta, Georgia area? We do have what is called we call it the takeover, but it is the HBCU Alliance. It is the walk run. This year, for people that don't know, this is the largest race of its kind. So this weekend in both Atlanta and in Washington, D.C., the run is taking place. If you're here, of course, we would love, because all the HBCUs do get together. The great thing about this is that a percentage of the money goes back to the universities and to those chapters. So if you are here in the Atlanta area, once again, that race is going on this weekend. Very excited about that. And my last thing before we go, I am very excited. My coach is coming into town this weekend to talk. That's not what I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is that I get the pleasure of introducing my coach.
All right. Well, maybe we can get him to come on with Black College Experience soon, too. My closing remark will be, we all know our armed services defend us. We all know our military is the reason why we're able to have the freedom that we have. I am so proud to announce that my Baton Rouge nephew, Devon James, has decided to serve his country as a member of the U.S. Armed Forces by joining the Army. I want to give a shout out to my nephew. He's a former member of the Jukebox. He's a former member of the Ocean of Soul at Texas Southern, and now he's chosen to go serve his country. I couldn't be more proud of him. I've seen this young man grow from a little boy to a grown man, seeing him learn to twirl those cymbals at two of the premier bands in the SWAC, and now he's going to serve his country. I'm proud of you, nephew. Congratulations. And that's all we have, Kels. So make sure you tune in next week for another episode of Black College Experience. Go ahead, Kels.
That's all I have. I have nothing else either.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Goodbye.